This story begins with a simple move. e4. Responded to black by e6. I don't know why I didn't push all the way. I'm sure this is some sort of opening I'm not familiar with. It's likely. I take advantage of taking the middle, which is normal. You gotta go for these middle squares. I have both of these defended. I'm happy with this. He checks me. Oh no! Push my pawn. Scares bishop away. You know what? I do the exact same thing. Twice. He moves back. Okay, let's count. He moved his bishop from here to here. And let's see. 1, 2, 3 moves. I could have done it in one. So don't over push when you're just going to get kicked out and waste moves. And look at this. He developed this piece and this piece, which is blocking his queen. Why can I not draw an arrow? Thank you. What is he going to do from here? I have all this development. And this. This wasn't a mistake. It was kind of a miscalculation on my part. I wanted it here. But I soon realized after he played this, that's not going to happen. So I kind of just left the knight there and pushed this pawn. He goes for the check. He does not learn. You have to learn from your mistakes here. I do the exact same thing. He pushes it in the exact same place. So far, let's look. He moved his bishop here, back to here, back to here, to here, back to here. Did nothing. And I have this pyramid of a pawn structure right now, dominating the middle of the board. Is this a good play on my part? No idea. This bishop is useless. It cannot go anywhere except a few squares here, unless I get this out the way. But once I get this out the way and I move it here, he's got this eyeballed, and I'm pretty sure he won't move it anytime soon, so I don't know. Next move. I move my knight. Probably should have put it here. I don't know, actually, I don't know why I did this. Oh. Maybe so I could bring my queen out and not have it being blocked. But that was my reasoning behind that. Brings out another pawn. Alright. Actually, I just realized I could have en passant there. Oh well, probably wouldn't have been a very good move. Anyway, I wouldn't have done it, but just throwing it out there. I move my bishop out, mainly so I can castle. I don't know how good castling is. I mean, I guess it gets out of the center of the board, but I mean, the pawn structure is so weird. I don't know what's going on anymore. He plays his knight to the outside. Probably a bad move on his part. Well, once again, probably put it there so he wasn't blocking his bishop line. Whatever. I'll give him that. And then I check. He's got a couple options here. Move out the way. Put this in the way, which is probably his best option. Or push this pawn. I believe is the only options. He pushes the pawn. Kicks my queen out. Sure. Wrong. I take his knight. His pawn was defending the knight. He pushes his pawn. I take the knight. He plays this move, which was a terrible move. Terrible move. He was just moving pieces to move pieces. Watch this. Take pawn. Hanging knight. If I get to the hanging knight, it's a fork to the king and the rook. The best part about this fork is I can get away with it. There's nothing guarding this rook. So it's not even a trade. It's just a free piece. But I see this. Simple move. If he comes here, I'll go there. If he doesn't move, I'll go here. Simple stuff. He doesn't see it. I don't know what he's thinking. He should have. Honestly, I don't know what he should have done. Probably just saved the rook and sacked the pawn. Or get the king out the way. Protected them both. I mean, unless you're planning to castle, which I don't think he ever did. Nope, he didn't. So I take the rook because, I don't know, he didn't see it, I guess. He blocks with his bishop. And now I go for this move. Just see what happens. He moves his rook right in the way of my bishop. Maybe he should move here. Or here. Or here. Or here, or here, or anywhere. But he puts it right in front of my bishop. I take, thinking, okay, I'll trade. Whatever. He doesn't take back. He doesn't take back. So I take. Like, will he take back this time? He does. Oh, well. I take this pawn that has been hanging this whole time. Moves his knight. I like this move. This was clever. I feel like I'm getting better at using my knights and how they're supposed to be used. He pushes a pawn because he probably doesn't know what to do. Check. Beautiful check. Can't take. Covered. Queen's not doing anything. It's done one move this entire game. And it was an alright move. It was the only way he got one piece out of it. He moves away. Check. Check his king. The only thing you can check, actually. He moves his king out the way, and I queen trade. I didn't really want to do this because my queen was much more valuable than his. But since before the queen trade I was up 18, I have to. It's just smart. I push my pawn, offering up a trade here. And he accepts it. Now I have this wide open file with a rook watching it. So I can just march right up. And that's what I'd begin to do. And he can't, he's only got this knight and the king stop me. Pawns, 4 out of his 5 pawns are locked up. I mean, this one technically is 2 until he moves this, but these ones aren't going anywhere unless I want them to. Or unless the knight comes in somehow and starts poking them away. But he moves his king over. I push my pawn. He moves his knight. I push my pawn. Check. He can't take. Watching it with the rook. He moves his king in front of the pawn, which starts one of the coolest finishes I've ever had. I mean, it's not that cool. This guy really didn't do very good, but I'm proud of myself. Alright. I moved the bishop for the first time, just out the way. You'll see why. He moves his knight. Oh, he's going to take my pawn. I bring my rook over. Sure enough, he takes my pawn. But wait. Look at that. Do you see what's going on here? He cannot move his knight out the way anywhere because beaming down the A file is my rook. He can't move the king anywhere because this rook is watching the B file. These 2 pieces are completely useless at this point. They're frozen. So all he's got is 4 locked up pawns in 1 more. This is his only move. Now, if I wasn't careful here, the game would be a draw. If he cannot move without being mated, it's a draw. He can't move any of his pawns. He can't move his king, can't move his knight, which means it would be a draw if I did something like this or this, you know. So, I move my knight out of the way, allowing this pawn to push. He now has a move, making sure I don't draw this game. He pushes his pawn, his only option. I move my knight. I could have taken, but I'm not worried. I have a plan. I can sack all the pieces I want. He takes. I pre-move this. He takes. I decide just to be safe. I'll take his pawn. He can still push with this one, so it's not a draw. And then I take. I don't. And this is beautiful. This is beautiful. He's already checkmated. He takes, and all I have to do is move the knight out the way for mate. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? I had this here for the last forever ago. Move 30. I checkmated him on move 37. His king was stuck by his own piece. And then at the end of the game, I snagged it. And then moved out the way. Checkmate. And actually, this is winning. I checkmate him with the knight, actually. This is considered a mate with a knight. And that's actually the first mate with a knight that I've ever had on chess.com, which is sad and interesting because, I'm expanding my options here. So, yeah, good job, Vinny. Rated 800, way lower than me. I'm not bashing on him. He was just worse. Statistically, I thought he was 900. And when I looked at it at first, I was like, oh, 906, that's a lot. I got like 10 points for beating him. So I am close to 900, trying to push. We'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching. I hope you understood and enjoyed. See you next time.